awkwardly, please.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Killer Author Club. We are here with the one and only and ever so fabulous Samantha Downing, who will be talking about her brand new release, A Twisted Love Story. We have tons and tons to talk about, so grab your cocktail, your list of questions for Samantha, and sit tight, and we will see you on the flip side.
Thought you really loved me, guess I was wrong. Thought you'd never leave me, guess I was dumb. Waited like forever to be your plus one, but I guess you were done.
Hi, everyone. I'm Killer Heather Gudenkauf, along with founding member Kaira Rouda. Unfortunately, Killer Kimberly Bell is away this week, and we miss her, but we are so excited to welcome Samantha Downing to the clubhouse. You may remember she was here with us for book club not that long ago, but we're here to talk about her brand new one, A Twisted Love Story, and more about that in a few moments. But the Killers and I started the Killer Author Club because we wanted to have a chance to talk with some of our favorite authors and books with readers like you. And so you can interact with them. We have some of the best in the biz, including Samantha, but we will be visiting with Chandler Baker, Sherry LaPena, Frida McFadden, Karen Slaughter, and TikTok phenomenon Lloyd Devereaux. Have you heard about this guy? We can't wait to share more about this, Lloyd and his story with his latest big hit. So all dates, times, and information can be found at killerauthorclub.com. But tonight we are here to talk to Samantha about killing of the fictional kind, of course. So make sure you're dropping your questions. And though we can't get to them all, please know we try, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. So if you're watching on Facebook or have a Facebook account, make sure you check out our public group, Killer Author Club, and our private group called the Killer Author Clubhouse, where we host book clubs and giveaways. And we recently chatted with Rachel Collar-Croft about her smash hit, Stone Cold Fox. Next up, we have Nicole Bart in the fabulous and fascinating The Long Way Back. She'll be with us on August 15th, and we have a very special book club that will be joining us for that show as well to discuss. And if you have a YouTube channel, which we are just growing exponentially, you can stream us to your big screen TV. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere, and killerauthorclub.com. And now, without further ado, Kaira, can you please introduce our special guest?
You know, I really can. Hi, Samantha.
Hi.
Samantha Downing is the author of the best-selling My Lovely Wife, nominated for the Edgar, ITW, Macavity Awards in the US, the CWA Award in the UK, and the winner of the, I'm not going to pronounce this right, award in France. Her third novel, For Your Own Good, was an instant USA Today bestseller. Her fourth novel, A Twisted Love Story, which is amazing, you guys, you've got to read it, was released in the US on July 18th. All right, Samantha, give us the elevator pitch for A Twisted Love Story.
Okay, first, thank you for having me. It's nice to see you guys again. A Twisted Love Story is a thriller about love, the good, the bad, the ugly, the painful, the wonderful. That's what it is. My 2-sentence elevator pitch. A thriller about love.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, we'll talk more about the book, of course, in a moment. But Heather, can you introduce the killer cocktail?
Yes. So Samantha, you created for us a very special cocktail. It is let me find it here, the Up All Night Espresso Martini. Can you tell us why you chose this cocktail?
Well, first, because I love coffee, so coffee in anything is good. And because, for 2 reasons, this will keep you up all night reading, because there are 2 ounces of espresso in it. So the alcohol will not dull all of that. And it's exactly something that Wes and Ivy would drink, so they could stay up all night fighting or doing whatever it is they're up to.
then it's very apt, because once you start this book, you cannot put it down, and you will be up all night reading.
Hopefully that's the goal.
So
Drink wine, drink
cheers.
together. Yes.
Yeah, cheers, Samantha, to another amazing read, and to cheers to everybody out there. Congratulations, Samantha.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. So now is the segment where we ask the killer question. But first, Crime Read says Samantha Downing is one of those rare writers equally focused on character and plotting, and it shows in the twists and turns of her novels, as well as the genuine emotions they evoke in readers. B.P. Walter, bestselling author of Dinner Guest, says, I love Samantha Downing's thrillers, and this one is an absolute gem. Deliciously addictive, constantly surprising, and, as the title would suggest, thoroughly twisted. You'll devour it. What a great, great endorsement.
So nice. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yes.
Okay, so the question is, Samantha, why do you kill?
I kill because I'm good at it. Period. I think we should always focus on our strengths.
Yes.
And that is a strength.
Okay, but why do you think you have this strength? Like, how did you acquire this strength to kill?
Because I can look at it objectively as opposed to emotionally. So I can, when I'm writing specifically, I can see where something makes sense as opposed to being attached to the characters so that I can't kill them. I love reading a book and one of the main characters is suddenly dead. Like, that is so shocking and so amazing. I think we all had that shock when we either watched or read a Game of Thrones, and I won't even spoil it, but when a major character dies at the end of the first season, everybody is shocked. And that's the kind of thing where you're like, okay, this is not going to go where I think it's going to go. And I love that, and I love doing that and shocking people in that way, as long as it makes sense in the story and it makes sense for the characters, of course.
And you definitely did shock and awe us in A Twisted Love Story. It's so good and so twisty, as the title
Thank you.
So what was the inspiration for this book?
I actually had written a different book that I threw out during the lockdown of the pandemic. I wrote a book, and one of the very small subplots in the book was a relationship like this, and a very, very roller coaster, up and down, break up and get back together. And I sort of took that and I thought I could write a whole book about this. And I wanted to write a book where the relationship was actually a character in the book. So Wes and Ivy are the two that are main characters that are in this relationship, but when they're together, they become something that is something different. It has its own characteristics. It has its own personality. And that was really the goal. And they're a bit like a tornado. They barrel through life and people get caught up in their whirlwind and bad things happen. Sometimes good things happen.
Great. And was the title set when you wrote it, or did the title come?
No. Actually, my original title was Always Have, Always Will. And then they thought that might be too much. People would get confused and think that was an actual romance book and not understand that it was a thriller. So we chose A Twisted Love Story because the word twisted or twisty is so often used for thrillers, and thought that was a better descriptive of the two genres sort of blended together.
And when you were writing it, did you think like, okay, I'm blending genres, or was it just kind of coming out organically as a story?
I think at some point I started to think that when it went through a few revisions where what I was really trying to capture is that their chaos that happens around them affects other people, and that as much as we think a relationship is only two people, it's never just two people. You have people giving you advice, you have people telling you what you should do, you have family, you have friends, you have people that are trying to insert yourselves in their relationship, and other people that you draw into it when you're that dramatic. So it is about a relationship, but it's about all the effects of that relationship.
Right. Makes sense. And do you think that the genres, like I keep seeing like more, I guess more sex, more passion coming into the game? Not that Gone Girl didn't already have like all of that in it, right? But I feel like it's getting pushed more to the forefront where there is more overtly the relationship part, I guess, of the relationship is coming to the forefront.
Yeah, I think the relationship has always been there since Gone Girl, since that was fundamentally about a marriage. But I think there's more sex coming into it, and
That's the word, which I
there's more spice coming into it. And mine doesn't have a lot. I'm not. I only would use spice if it really added something to the book, or
I
it
totally
was
agree. Yeah.
because I don't write that kind of thing, and most of the sex in my books is implied.
Right.
Because you're not there to read graphic sex, you're there to read a thriller. So, but yeah, I think that this is, the genre is constantly evolving and it goes in different directions. Just like Gone Girl, it was different than it was after Gone Girl. So there are moments in which things change. Now we have Colleen Hoover and Verity, which had a thriller and it also had sex in it. So now you see a bit of a shift happening there.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. And, in your books, which I love about them, twisted, toxic relationships are really at the forefront, kind of your trademark. What is it about them that you love exploring?
I think
dark
because,
relationships.
sorry,
These dark relationships.
The dark relationships. I think it's because the people closest to you are the people that can hurt you the most. So when there is a betrayal in a relationship with someone you're that close to, reactions are going to be bigger, feelings are going to be stronger, and that's the worst fear for many of us, is to be betrayed by the people we're closest to, as opposed to the old style thriller where it was more of a detective chasing a serial killer. This is personal. And so, and I think the popularity of these relationship thrillers, marriage thrillers, whatever it is you want to call them, it shows that people want to read about that, and that it is something that triggers people when that happens. And betrayal is the common thread between all of them. Somebody always gets betrayed in this book. It's just a matter of who and who's doing the betraying.
Right. And I loved in the book, and I, won't give away too much, but, Wes and Ivy, they do have this like magnetic push-pull relationship, and they always seem drawn back to each other, but they always betray one another in different ways, but they always end up back together. And what is it about? I think there was a quote at the beginning of the book that love is a mental illness. What is the thinking behind that, do you think?
Yeah, that was a Plato quote. Yeah. Love is a serious mental disease.
Yes.
And Plato said that however many thousands of years ago. For Wes and Ivy, everybody loves the feeling of falling in love. Mm-hmm. And that's what they do. Every time they get back together, they fall in love all over again. And they keep breaking up and getting back together and having that fall in love honeymoon stage. But they have to keep getting more and more dramatic in order to feel it. And they both love it. Neither one of us is screaming to get out of the relationship. They willingly do this over and over again. Personally, I think they're perfect for each other. But I know a lot of people disagree, and that's where I think the fun is in this book, because there's a lot to discuss about it, and people bring in their own relationship pasts with their own opinions of what they think of relationships like that, whether they've been in them before.
Right. For sure. And also, I think too, like you've either seen it or been in it, like the passion phase, and it doesn't last. I mean, like hopefully we've all had it, but for most people, and so to like read a couple on the page that actually is trying to keep that passion, it's really interesting. And then also to have Karen interjected into the whole situation. Like, I mean, she's such a great character. And when you were writing this, how does it come about? Is it like Wes and Ivy first, and then Karen because Ivy called? Like, how did that come together?
I knew that it was going to begin with the detective, sort of catching on to something about this couple isn't right. And that the detective shows up because of something Ivy has done. She shows up at Wes's office, and it is part of their game, but it leads to something far more serious because Karen is nobody's fool.
Right.
So she's caught on that something very weird is going on here. I loved Karen. Karen is such a complex character and has her own past. And that's the other thing about this book. It's not just Wes and Ivy. Every character in this book has had relationships who make them who they are. Love is a common thread. I would say love is a character in the book, and what love does to people, the good and the bad and the ugly.
I agree.
Absolutely. Here's a good question. It says, do you ever feel like it gives people the idea that this is how good relationships should actually work?
If you're reading my books for relationship advice, I would say there's like a whole section in the bookstore for stuff like that. I'm not here to give anybody advice because you'd all end up serial killers. So don't do that. Don't do that.
That's why I think it's so much fun, because we end up completely rooting for Wes and Ivy completely, and boy, are they flawed, and they've made some mistakes. We can just say that. But I almost found myself like cheering them on, like, you guys belong together, don't break up again. And it's so much fun, and discovering who the villains are and who they aren't, because that switches as you read the story. You layer the characters so in depth and so well that, as we're reading, we're learning a little bit more that, maybe there's a reason Ivy is acting like this. Maybe there's a reason Karen is. And it's so
Bianca's a great character too. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I love Bianca. Is close to my heart because I have been an assistant like that before. Mm-hmm. And first of all, they know everything. I guarantee you. They know all about your personal life. They don't even have to look as hard as Bianca did.
No.
We know as assistants, we know. And we can make you or break you. We can ruin your relationship with one phone call. So.
Exactly. And I never understood why people aren't nice to the assistants. Like, they know everything. They're the gatekeeper. They can get you a good meeting time or a bad meeting time. Just be nice to the assistants.
Be nice to the assistants.
Yeah. And if you're not nice to the assistants, well, Bianca will show you.
Because especially if an assistant has been around for a while, they are more likely than not giving advice to their boss about people. And he is listening, or she is listening, or they are listening, or whoever is listening, whoever her bosses are, they're listening. If she says that person is terrible and rude, that's going to mean something to them coming from her.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I love that whole element.
Or him, coming from her or him. Or might not be a woman.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Well, I'm going to ask, because the minute we open up to the first page, the dedication says, "For the man who inspired this book, you're damn right I wrote about you."
Taylor Swift.
Should we just cheers to this dedication?
Just cheers. I don't have anything more to say about that.
Exactly.
And I said what I said, and that's
mic drop. Yeah, I think that's good. I like that. Okay. Random authoring question. Are you a pantser or a plotter?
Pantser. Full on pantser. Yeah. I don't plot anything ever.
Right. That takes all the fun out of it.
It's also why I throw out so much. It is more fun to be a pantser, but I end up with a lot of stuff that doesn't go anywhere and doesn't turn into a book. So it is the least efficient way to write, but
that's how I've done it. Yeah, that's how I've done it for years. And I find myself banging my head against the wall. How do you keep your sanity as a pantser? Because I struggle at how much I have to throw out. And how do you reconcile that?
Okay, well, first, I'm not sure I'm sane. So I don't know that that would qualify, but I just keep going. I mean, I I love it when I find a story that I love and I want to sit down and write it. If it becomes a chore, it's the wrong story for me, or I'm approaching it from the wrong place or something. When I wrote this book, I loved writing about Wes and Ivy. They were a lot of fun to write, and their chemistry to me like just jumped off the page. And so I liked sitting down to see what they would get into next. If I don't feel that way, then it's already not the right book for me to write. And there's a lot that I start, and 5, 10, 20,000 words in, I realize I had a good idea, but it didn't turn into a book. And sometimes an idea is just an idea and it's not a book. Yeah. And you just have to accept it. I throw out I just threw away another book. I just threw away a whole manuscript. So I do it all the time.
Like a full length manuscript?
Full length.
Okay, so tell us about your, tell me, just talk to me, because I'm curious. Tell us all about your writing day. What does that look like?
I write every morning, early in the morning, 4 in the morning, sometimes 5. Wow. Well, especially now that I'm on the West Coast, because my time got screwed up, so it's earlier now.
Right.
And I do all of my most creative, the creating something new writing that early in the morning, first thing. And then I might, for a few hours, I try to get at least 1,000 words a day. Brand new words.
Brand new words.
And then after that, I might revise. I might read through other stuff that I have. I might have edits on another book, whatever. And then social media, emails, all that stuff.
Right.
So, but the fresh new writing is always first thing in the morning.
I need to try and get up earlier. That's my problem.
So yeah, I'm an afternoon writer. In the morning, I can't process anything. That's when I do like the business stuff and the emails and the marketing stuff. And then like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm like, here,
ready.
So fun. And then like my characters come to life. But in the morning, they're like, I'm really tired. I need more coffee. Don't talk to me yet. Oh, but I have had a lot of questions coming through asking what's next, which is, the perennial question.
Another thriller. We'll see which one it ends up being, since I just threw one out. So
right.
We'll see. But it will be another thriller.
We cannot wait. We cannot wait.
Awesome.
I can't wait to figure out what it is.
That's the best, though. But
I think that when you write at the same time every day, you train your brain to know that that's what it's going to do. I mean, your bodies love routine, and they love doing the same thing, sleeping at the same time and getting up at the same time. And if they know, okay, your brain now is going to be creative, like it actually starts to know that. Right. So for you, it's the afternoon or whatever. And then your brain is ready for that at that time.
Yeah. It's gearing up. It's like, okay, we get to get into these other people's minds and put it on paper. And question, what makes an author throw out a book?
When it's terrible.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah. Now, how do you know that? Does somebody have to tell you, or do you just know?
Sometimes both. It can be both. It can be both. If I this one, let's see. Sometimes I turn it in, and when I get the edit letter, everything is wrong. Like everything from the first paragraph about it is wrong, and it's a complete rewrite. Mm-hmm. And if it's a complete rewrite, sometimes I just think I obviously don't have a handle on this story. Mm-hmm. If I didn't even start it right, and mm-hmm. you know what I mean? Like I didn't get across the points I was trying to get across. Nothing about it. Something I thought was super important in the book didn't land at all in the reading of it. And it happens, and I just think I can either rewrite this or I can write something new, because it's going to be a rewrite at either way.
And I also think too, that at some point, if you get that editorial letter and it's so heavy on you and your characters that you just I don't know, it just again takes the life out of it. Like, why not just start a new book? I mean, why not just take pieces of that, or take a character or two like you did here and make your own story that will sing then. And probably you're internalizing that feedback, not that we outline, but that, you get that feedback in, and then you're like, oh, okay, this will help me make it better in my own way, in my own time.
Yeah, I seem to just I just never know. Sometimes I think I've got it down, and then it's not. And other times, my editor will read it and there'll be not much to do. I'll be like, wow, I really nailed that. But I never know, because you don't have enough distance between it. So
yeah.
Right.
You just don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So
they're
interesting.
creations.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
There.
2 lucky winners this week. Each one is going to win a copy of A Twisted Love Story. Samantha is kind enough to offer that. So, so a great giveaway this week. So to win, all you have to do is answer this question about our killer guest, and we will pick from the correct answer. Bonus points for joining the Killer Author Clubhouse Facebook group or subscribing to the YouTube channel. So if you do both of those, then you get a little extra nudge and a chance to win the book. So the question is, which one of Samantha's novels was an instant USA Today bestseller? So look for that, and you can jot that in the notes, and we will pick a winner around this time tomorrow evening.
Exactly.
Good luck.
Good luck. All right. And you guys, the Killer Author Club loves independent bookstores, and we appreciate your support of them. Sam has selected Book Passages and Corte Madera as her bookseller. Sam, tell us why you chose Book Passage.
That's a local bookstore here in California, and I had a launch event there when my lovely wife came out. At the time, I was living in New Orleans, but I flew out here to have one because this is where I grew up. So I went back there, and there's signed copies there if you want to order. And they do ship. They ship everywhere, including international. So.
Yeah, and we are dropping the link right now. Well, one of us is, not me, but Heather.
Let's drop that link so you can buy directly from Book Passages.
Yes.
And show them and Sam a little love.
And that is a great bookstore. I love the bookstore. And they also have one in the Ferry Building too, right? Is that?
Yep.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, I got to do an event there. That was so fun.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. And as we love this segment because every episode we get a feature wonderful authors, but we can't get to everybody. So we do have a special author this week who does have a new book out, and that is, find that here, maybe I can find her. There it is. Retribution by Wendy Whitman. So Retribution is about, after a shattering conclusion of Carrie's quest for justice for the victims of a suspected serial killer in her first book in the series, Premonition, Retribution picks up with her cohorts, continuing their own investigation to find the killer. So congratulations. And we wish her the best of luck on this new release. You can pick it up today.
Yeah. Congratulations. Okay. And also, membership has its privileges, as we tell you guys. So join the Killer Author Clubhouse on Facebook, our private group, because every episode we choose one member to give some swag to: t-shirts, mugs, hats. I'm not in my house, or I would be modeling all of that for you, but you've got the idea. Okay. And so tonight's winner is Tracy Baker. So please send one of the killers your address, and we'll send some killer swag away. And we just got our first killer swag request from Switzerland, and we're working on that right now. So don't worry, you can get
worldwide.
it. We will. Yes, worldwide. We are international at this point.
Yes, worldwide killers. So yes, check out our website for that. And Samantha, I think this is the first time that we've had a killer author guest receive two. It'll be your second award. You survived the Killer Author second time because you were here for book club and then now for our regular episode. So we will send you that badge, and you can cut it out and put it next to your other one, because I know you have that up somewhere, or pin it to your shirt. But congratulations again on an amazing read. Everybody needs to run out and grab their copy today. When I say that I could not put this book down, I mean it. And it's dark, it's scary, but it's also funny. I mean, I found myself chuckling in a few spots about the relationship between Wes and Ivy. Readers are going to love it.
The dark humor is.
Thank you so much for having me back. It's always fun to talk to you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have you back again if you want to come back. So
Absolutely.
stay tuned. But thank you. Okay, and now that does it for tonight's episode. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, and thank you, Samantha, too, for being here again. On August 15th, beginning at 8 Eastern Time, we have our next book club with Nicole Bart. We'll be discussing The Long Way Back, which Glamour magazine said you won't be able to predict the journey Bart is taking you on when you start the novel, and she will keep you guessing where she is headed until the very end. And before that, we're back in 2 weeks on August 8th with the one and only Sarah DeVello, who will chat with us about Broadway Butterfly, a jazz age thriller. That's going to be really fun, you guys. And for times, schedules, past episodes, recipes, merch, all that kind of stuff, go to killerauthorclub.com, and we'll be right back here in 2 weeks. And in the meantime, go read a book. Thank you.
I guess I'm a killer through our love into the